Chapter 409, Monster Ape at the Bottom of the Water. This chapter is updated by Novels.pl. Of course, Zhang Yuochen wouldn't carelessly venture into the depths of the valley. First, he activated the sky eye in his globula to use his spiritual power to probe the surroundings. Going through layers of miasmas, he could see a cold black pond at the bottom of the valley. An extremely dangerous power emanated from the cold pond and forced back Zhang Yuochen's spiritual power. What a fierce power! Is there a strong savage so fast? Beast living in the cold pond? Zhang Yuochen caught two disciples of Master Long's and asked them if they knew anything. Master Long's two disciples were called Master Day and Master Xiao respectively. At that moment, both of them knelt on the ground and kept kowtowing to Zhang Yuochen as if he was their deity. Master Day said, "Master Long's has done all kinds of evil things. You killed him, and he deserved it. We are willing to follow you and be your servants in the future." Master Xiao said with a trembling voice, "I'm also willing to follow you and will always faithfully stay by your side." How could they dare to challenge Zhang Yuochen after witnessing his immense power? They could only submit to his rule since it was the only way to live. Even Master Long's was killed by Zhang Yuochen with one move, then wouldn't he kill them only need a snap of a finger? Zhang Yuochen said, "Tell me, what on earth is it in the cold pond at the bottom of the valley? And where did Master Long's get his black glazed spinel?" In order to get on Zhang Yuochen's good side, Master Day replied immediately, "There is a monster ape living in the cold pond. It is the dominator of the entire monster ape ridge. Master Long's and we are just its servants." Master Xiao also added, that black glazed spinel that Master Long's wore was a reward given by the monster ape. Apparently, now is the key moment for the monster ape to break through its realm. It needs to swallow 2 women every day in order to increase the yin cold chi in its body. Zhang Yuochen showed a cold expression and an aura burst out from his body. He said in a deep voice, "Are you talking about the women in the dungeon?" The pressure released by Zhang Yuochen pressed on Master Day and Master Xiao like a mountain. They were getting squeezed to death by the raw power. "Do not hurt us. Please, we are just following the orders of that old fool, Longs. If we don't follow his order, we'll surely be killed." Master Day begged. Zhang Yuochen said, "Tell me, how powerful is that monster ape?" Master Day was shocked. Was this man really going to deal with the monster ape? The monster ape was notorious across the whole 5 Elements continent. Although he was shocked, he said honestly, "The monster ape is terrifyingly powerful. Just the icing cold evil energy that flows out from his skin overwhelmed us and forced us to lie down on the ground when near it. Even that old fool, Longs, can't possibly survive after one strike." Master Xiao's face was a little pale. He said, "Young hero, you'd better not bother it. Once it is irritated, there will be an uproar in the entire 5 Elements continent." Zhang Yuochen said, "Both of you have said that it is the key moment for the ape to have a breakthrough. Maybe I can take this chance to kill it." Zhang Yuochen certainly would like to be able to obtain the black glazed spinel. There must have been a large amount of black glazed spinel in the cold black pond at the bottom of the valley. Otherwise, the monster ape would not have settled down there. Moreover, Zhang Yuochen found that the black glazed spinel contained the most succinct water-natured power. If he could refine a large amount of the black glazed spinel, he could possibly practice into treasured body of water spirit. Although that treasured body was one level lower than a saintly being, it was much more powerful than the ordinary human constitution. If Zhang Yuochen practiced into the treasured body of water spirit, his martial arts would be improved even further. Zhang Yuochen called out the violet thunder sword and walked toward the depths of the valley step by step. Watching Zhang Yuochen's back, Master Day and Master Xiao looked at each other. They could see the fear in each other's eyes. "We'd better quickly run as far as we can. Once the monster ape is angered, anywhere within 50 kilometers will be razed to the ground. He is too arrogant. There is no way he can survive once he starts fighting against the monster ape." They immediately rushed out of the valley and went into the forest, quickly running away into the distance. The deeper Zhang Yuochen was in the valley, the colder his surroundings got. When Zhang Yuochen got close to the cold black pond, He released the space domain and regulated the power of the space warps. In a flash, Zhang Yuochen disappeared from the ground. Being enveloped by the space domain, Zhang Yuochen restrained his aura and sneaked into the cold black pond to look for the lair of the monster ape. Although the cold pond was small and narrow on the surface, the deeper he dived in, the wider the pond was. The temperature at the bottom of the cold pond was extremely low. Warriors in the heaven realm with weak cultivation would certainly be frozen to death if they dived more than 100 meters deep. However, the heaven and earth spiritual chi was dozen times thicker than outside. This place could be considered to be a practicing sanctum even in Kunlun's field. How strange. The temperature is so low, but the water's still not freezing at the bottom of the pond. Zhang Yuochen vaguely felt the slight power of black glazed spinel in the black cold pond. Even if Zhang Yuochen didn't use his exercises, that power still continued to infuse into his body, integrating into his blood and meridians. Even if I didn't get the black glazed spinel, I could still practice into the treasured body of water spirit if I practiced in the cold pond for 10 years. Right now, Zhang Yuochen could affirm that there must be a large number of black glazed spinels at the bottom of the cold pond. After diving about 200 meters, light couldn't reach the depths at all. Zhang Yuochen could only use his sky eye to see in the water. A giant black shadow appeared below, which was 30 meters tall and was fully covered by the long black hair. It was a giant ape shape looking from afar. Swoosh! The monster ape was breathing heavily. Every time it breathed in, huge water wave gushed toward it and going into its body through its nostrils. Every time it breathed out, the water pushed back like a tsunami. An unbeatable power emanated from his body. It seemed that the lofty mountains could even crumble with one punch from the monster ape. Black glazed spinel. Zhang Yuochen stared at the stone wall below the monster ape. On the stone wall appeared pieces of black crystals, of which the smallest one was the size of the finger, and the biggest one was as large as a wash basin. The black glazed spinel Zhang Yuochen had refined before was only about the size of the smallest among them. Suddenly, the monster ape that was practicing discovered Zhang Yuochen's aura and made a loud roar. It opened two big eyes and shot out two golden light columns, which broke through Zhang Yuochen's space domain and hit his body. Pow! Zhang Yuochen flew backward and violently hit the stone wall in the distance. He sank into the stone wall, forming a big pit. Fortunately, he mobilized the power of the Dragon Pearl in time, which formed a golden light screen to protect his body. Otherwise, he would be certainly badly hurt by that strike of the monster ape. The monster was furious, as it did not expect someone could actually break into the Blackwater chill pool undetected. It struck out one palm. The speed reached the maximum limit and was nearly twice the speed velocity. In an instant, its fist hit Zhang Yuochen's body. Zhang Yuochen wanted to dodge, but before he could mobilize his genuine chi, the ape's fist had landed on his body, almost breaking through the defense of the Dragon Pearl. The monster ape was like a peerless giant demon. It looked ferocious and had infinite power. It immediately struck out the second palm. However, the moment before its fist had landed on Zhang Yuochen, he disappeared. Zhang Yuochen appeared above the monster ape's head. He had used the space-moving move just now. Glang! The violet thunder sword flew out and Zhang Yuochen grabbed the sword. He then chopped down towards the ape. Soul-slaying sword. Zhang Yuochen demonstrated the last move of 13 swords techniques of soul chasing, which was also the most powerful one. Dozens of glass-thick purple lightning gathered into the sword tip. The sword screamed like the wind and thunder, as it tried to split the monster ape in half. Crack! Crack! The monster ape blocked the violet thunder sword with one hand. It swung its arm with explosive strength and slapped Zhang Yuochen away. The hit Zhang Yuochen made just now only left a half-meter-long wound in its palm. For the ape, it was not a big wound. So powerful. This monster ape must have practiced into the treasured body of water spirit. Zhang Yuochen used his sky eye to observe. He could see that the monster ape's cultivation had already reached the peak of the first change in the fish dragon realm. The monster ape's strength was many times powerful than the chief chairman of Poisonous Spider Club, even though both of them were in the first change in the fish-dragon realm. The biggest reason was that the monster ape had practiced into the treasured body of water spirit. Zhang Yuochen immediately released his martial soul and his body emitted a dazzling white light. There was a soul shadow above his head. After absorbing half-saint's light, Zhang Yuochen's martial soul was strong enough to be put on a par with that of monk in the fourth change in the fish-dragon realm. The martial soul began to mobilize the heaven and earth spiritual chi and convert it into its own power, which suddenly increased Zhang Yuochen's strength to a large degree. Although the martial soul could be comparable with the fourth change in the fish-dragon realm, it didn't mean that Zhang Yuochen could display the strength of the fourth change in the fish-dragon realm. After all, he was still in the advanced stage of the heaven realm. Of course, with the help of the martial soul, Zhang Yuochen had exceeded the ordinary person's limit of practicing the martial arts. With Zhang Yuochen's current strength, he was only a level weaker than the monster ape, and he at least had a chance. Fight. Zhang Yuochen activated the power of the dragon pearl, then the layer of golden dragon scale appeared on the surface of his body, and a pair of giant dragon wings came out of his back. He held the violet thunder sword and faced the monster ape. The spiritual chi of heaven and earth constantly converged to Zhang Yuochen and incessantly injected into the violet thunder sword. 72 basic inscriptions and 3 medium-level inscriptions in the sword were fully activated and broke out the full power of the 10th level genuine martial arms. Zhang Yuochen flapped the dragon wings on his back, pushed aside the pond water and took the first step, charging towards the monster ape. He held the sword with his hands, and the lightning emitting from the sword seemed to turn into a long river of thunder and lightning.